Hello everyone, and good afternoon from TEDxUCAKhorog at the campus of Khorog State University, high up in the Pamir Mountains of Tajikistan. So, it's not often that you have the honor and the opportunity to give a talk from somewhere as beautiful as Khorog, rightfully known as the roof of the world. And you know what? I think even though there's 3,000 TED Talks taking place this year, we may be even in the running for the record of one of the highest altitude TED Talks in the world. Let's see. So, today I'm going to talk to you about the power of big data and how data can be used in decision making. So you might think big data is a buzzword, something that applies to fintech firms, companies in London, in Silicon Valley, in California, like Facebook, Amazon, HSBC, or Alif Bank, whose co-founder you just heard give an amazing speech on how data really helped them to revolutionize their products, understand about the market, and build something that works for Tajikistan. So you might be sitting there thinking, how does this apply to me? What's the purpose of big data in my life? Well, in today's world, where technology is all pervasive, big data is used all the time for small and big decisions to shape the world we live in and our everyday interactions. And so to meet the complex challenges that we face, we all need to learn how to read, use, understand, and apply data in order to advocate for the best solutions. So I'm sure you've all heard the phrase big data many times, but how many here in the audience really know what that means? Let's see a show of hands. Okay, a few. So, in simplest terms, big data is just a large volume of structured, unstructured, semi-structured data that comes in high volume and high speed to companies, firms, people all the time. And often it's too big to be processed by the human mind and by traditional data software or data processing models, and it can overwhelm and lead to paralysis for decision making. So to address this, we need new models, new ways of thinking, and new ways of applying this. What I want to talk to you today about is how we can really harness the power of technology to use data for better decision making. And that it's also not just the technical specialists who need to use this, but it's also people who run programs, who run projects, who run cities, mayors, somebody on the city council, the rector of Khorog State University, somebody who manages the water supply in Dushanbe or in Khorog. So you might think, if I'm here today talking to you about data, that I'm a software programmer, or I know how to write code for computers, or that I'm an urban planner or an architect, because I'm talking about how data can make lives in cities better. But that's not the case. I studied humanitarian emergencies and economics in London, and you might think, where's the logic? How does a person who studied in London end up working on resilient city planning for Khorog in the Pamir Mountains? But hopefully I can show you how this applies. So, to see how data can be used to really make an effective decision, I'm going to bring you an example from somewhere you know well, from the city that we're sitting in right now, from Khorog. At ACA, the Agahan Agency for Habitat, we use multiple sources of data in a framework called habitat planning to look at how you can collect and analyze different pieces of information about a city or about a village to create a vision for how the place can develop to be a safe space, somewhere that's safe from natural hazards, that provides a space for economic development, that provides a space for opportunities and for a quality of life. To do this, we use multiple pieces of data. There might be specialists who know how to collect weather patterns, who know how to monitor avalanches, who look at snowmelt, rainfall, and can conduct modeling to predict and to show patterns of when avalanches can happen. They would also need to take into account climate change, hazard risks, and know how climate change can impact temperature rises, which could lead to more flooding. For this, you might need to use GIS or complex models so that you can apply these in the town plan and know where to put in hazard protection measures or hazard mitigation measures. But to do this, you also need to, this would be reflected on a hazard map that's complicated like this. But you also need to understand where people live and work, what people want, how they travel, how they move around. Is it by bike, by car, by tandem, by bus, or by walking? You also need to understand people's patterns, their wishes, their desires, and their priorities to really advocate for solutions that work. So, let's zoom into Khorog. Think back to the sunny days of last weekend, or to your summer holidays. You probably all spent some time in Khorog City Park, in Khorog. Probably you went for a walk, you went for a swim, you had some ice cream, or you took some photos for your Instagram near the Punj River. And if you look out across the other bank of the river, it's close to look at, but very far to walk to. And you would see that there are less shops, businesses, and not many reasons to go there, unless you're going home or you're going to visit your relatives. The river of Khorog is a key feature for the city, but it divides north from south, leading to less connectivity and less urban mobility. So if you were going to invest your resources into making one change that could be a transformative decision, you need to think about how to connect these places. You would be able to make the city more walkable and more bike-friendly if you were able to walk from one side to the other side more easily. Connecting, for example, the youth centre, the banks, the hotels, and the restaurants to the other side, connecting Bulaken to Bizmich. And that one decision would have a transformative impact because it would not just impact economic values, where people would be able to expand their businesses and have more clients, but also bringing in low-carbon technology and low-carbon travel, because people are more likely to walk than take public transport if something has a low-cost effect and is close and easy to do. But there are lots of places in which to invest your resources. So how do you decide where to prioritize? That's how data modeling can help us to make more effective decisions. Now, we've already heard from Professor Sultan Bek on how indigenous knowledge can help make effective solutions for communities, or Chris's inspiring talk on how we can apply passive energy solutions for transforming the way we live, the way we produce, and the way we operate. And these can also have a way of bringing low-carbon technology and making our lives greener and more sustainable. Is there a way, though, of bringing together people's visions and priorities, hard data, technologies about flood modeling and predictions, in order to really advocate for solutions that work? That's where the power of data comes in, to help you know how to maximize impact, how to prioritize, how to know that you're really making solutions that are not just valid for today, but are valid for the long term, and how you're bringing together an anthropological lens and an economic lens, because you're showing that your solutions are valid for the community, but they've also taken into account hard data, showing how things are going to change and what's important for everyone. So, what are the key takeaways from today's talk? Well, one of the things I wanted to say is that the way we think about climate change today is different. For your generation who are studying now, it's even more different from when I was at university just 10 years ago. Climate change has become a cross-sectorial issue and an existential challenge. And it's something, to find solutions to this, we need to think in the long term and create solutions that are going to be valid not just for us, but for our children and even our children's children. So thinking now about how we can encourage low-carbon travel and urban mobility, and how we can use some of these indigenous knowledge and innovative solutions through harnessing the power of technology and data modeling to combine an anthropological lens with an economic and environmental science lens to really advocate for solutions that will work, that apply to the local context. At the end of the day, we're not all going to be data scientists. We're not all going to be the ones who are building the models, but we all need to learn how to critically read, analyze, apply, and use data to advocate for the best solutions and to really build a better future for all of us. Thank you for listening. That's all.